It's good how when relationship starts, everything starts so wonderful, so good. And it seems like it's a time of happiness. It seems like it's a time that, you know, you can really express yourself to each other. But the thing about relationship, it's never about a holiday, because that holiday never seems to last. You know, you think of a beautiful island that you could spend the rest of your life just being close to each other, being free. But the funny thing is, it always changes for some reason. And trying to understand how come a relationship can change so easily. Because your mindset changes everything. Sometimes the man might not understand his true nature, or the woman might not understand her true nature. It might have just been because she likes the way he looks, or the way he dresses, or the way he smiles, the way he tells a joke. A whole heap of different things could be the reason why the relationship got started. But these are the things that make us what we are, because we see things, we want things, we like to feel that we are with the best thing for us. But the thing about it is that how long does these things last for? It's like when we look at the way how they used to make furnitures. In the old days, you could have a wardrobe and it would last you for life, because they were made solid. They were made to last. Nowadays, unfortunately, relationships are not that way, because people have got so many different agendas. When it's not about money, when it's not about jealousy, when it's not about deceit, when it's not about someone being selfish, all these things comes between two couples, two people being happy with each other. Sometimes the mentality of one does not fit with the mentality of the next one. Especially in this time, what we're going through, it even makes it harder for a lot of women and for a lot of men. Because sometimes we look at this thing in the wrong way. We think everything that happens to men only happens to men. Anything that happens to women only happens to women. Well, let's take for instance, you have a couple, and this couple, they're happy, they have 2 children, and basically The father, he wants to do everything to make them happy. So what he does, every day he gets up, he goes out, and he looks for work, because at the moment he's not working. And he would really love to do everything to please his family. But then he thinks what he's doing is right, because he's just getting up every morning, going out and trying to find work. The wife, meantime, is at home, and she's looking after the children, cleaning the house, doing whatever she can, thinking she's doing the right thing to please the husband and to please the children. But then one day, the notion comes into his head, because he came home and she wasn't feeling too good, but she never done what she was supposed to do. And he comes in and he thinks to himself, well, what has she been doing all day? And then he put in his head, put into his psychic, that maybe she's been unfaithful. And there we go. The relationship starts breaking down, because he's looking now for things that isn't even there. Then he started to watch her, starting to think, well, you know, whose is this? What is this? What is that? And starting to create things in his head that isn't there. And what happens? He still has the nature that he want to provide for his children, he want to provide for his wife. And if she goes to the shop, he's worried because she's not back in 10 minutes, because it should only take her 5 minutes to get to the shop. Not thinking maybe she, walks slowly or whatever, because in his head he's already put this thought that she's doing something wrong. So all the time this thought is there. It's there because he has nothing to believe in except in his creation of fantasy of what could be going on. Because now he's looking for a way out, to try to say, well, this is why things isn't going right for me. Maybe because she's doing this, or maybe because she's doing that. Now, he then is treating her completely different to the honeymoon scenario, where everything is like they're on an island and the world can pass by and they'll be happy. Now she's noticing the changes in him, because he's questioning more. Every time he goes out, you want to know why this, why that. How come he took so long to get to the shop? And she's trying to explain to him, well, I walked slowly to the shop. I didn't, I wasn't rushing. I met the lady from next door and she was saying whatever to me. He don't want to hear this. Because he has a set thing in mind that basically she's doing wrong. So, you see, when relationships form, it needs to be found on a basis of trust. Because if it's not based on that form of trust, how easy it could be broken down. You know, it's not just men who do this. Women as well. They could see a guy speaking to another girl, another woman, and they don't know what's going on. And at the end of the day, they look at it and they say, oh, why is he speaking to her? Then they put in their psyche that maybe they're having an affair, maybe something's going on. And then all of a sudden, where they used to be happy and, everything's still on this beach, still on holiday, and they're thinking to themselves, wait, he goes out, going to work. She starts being at home. She's thinking, what is he up to? Because she already put this into her head. And she now beginning not to trust him. But all the time, all he's doing is going to work. Just like the woman, all she's doing is looking after the children. She goes to the shop, she buys some milk or whatever. But it took her 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes. But there we go. All of a sudden, the guy comes in, accuses her. What's going on? She don't know. She ain't got a clue. He's starting now to get even further away from this honeymoon period. Next thing, bam, he hits her. And when he realized in himself, wait a minute, I've actually I hurt the person who I told I loved, who was my friend. It's too late. But what he does, he said, I'm sorry. As if sorry is going to solve the problem. You see what she does then? She's crying, she's angry. She's saying things that basically she wouldn't normally say to him. And this is inside of him. It's killing him from both sides because he's hurt her. He don't know how to make it right. But at the same time, he's brought a different side of her earth out towards him. And this is like a feud building. Let's switch. Now we go over to the woman that is there, and she sees her husband. He's just talked to a woman and she feels like he's having an affair. But all he's doing is he's going to work as normal. He's working, coming home. How are you, honey? Everything's fine, blah, blah, blah. She turns around and she said, hang on. I thought you finished work at 6. How come you're home at 7:30? I bet you've been to see such and such. Please, no, I haven't been to see no one. I've been from work, but come home. Traffic wasn't good. She believe that. Anyway, laying in bed, what happens? He tried to put his arm around her, and she pushed him off. And he tries again, and she slaps him. He couldn't believe it. Where is this coming? So he asked her, "What's wrong, love?" "Oh!" She started swearing, slapping him, kicking him, punching him. And she realized, this is the person who I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. We were on a honeymoon. We lived on this perfect island in our dream. Now, what became of these dreams? Why these two people who started off so wonderful? What happened? A lot of times, people say that, there's a lot of abuse in families, in couples. And they don't stop and ask themselves, why does these things happen? A woman can get just as aggressive as a man, and a man can get aggressive just like a woman. But the main thing is that sometimes people forget. They don't talk to each other. Money is one of the biggest denominator in relationship breakdown. Infidelity is another. Even though there's many other factors, the biggest one is trust. When you lose that trust to each other, when you forget the reason why you are together, or why you even got married, then this is something that a lot of people don't like to talk about, and they don't even talk to themselves about this. You see, it's easy to blame somebody else for your mistakes. But sometimes if people only stop and look for the solution for themselves. Look deep inside of yourself for your solution. I do counseling because I understand that we all have the need to do things that is wrong. And we all have the need to look for answers. But what I found from counseling, to be able to give people answers, every time I'm looking for answers for them, I have to look within myself to find my answer to give it to them. Now I know that they have their answer inside of them. But it's knowing how to withdraw the answer from yourself to be able to make sense of it. Now, I cannot be sitting at your table when you're having dinner to hear the conversation. I cannot be sitting in the bar with both of you to understand what's going on. She might be looking at someone and you just glancing. And inside of your head, you might think that they already had sex just by thinking. Now, if that's the case, you don't know that person that you're with. You see, if you knew yourself, you probably would know the person who you're with. If you know the person who you're with, you would know within yourself that that person would not do such a thing. So the whole concept of, all this thing about domestic abuse, it's only because of the lack of communication, the lack of understanding each other, a lack of understanding yourselves. The worst thing about it is, the woman suffer, the man suffer, but the children, they suffer even more. So, you need to start thinking now. I don't care how long you've been together. As couples, you need to start thinking not about what you want, but what each other have to bring to the table. Because you need to look within yourself. And when you have children, you have to look at, is it for you that you want whatever's going to happen? If you start arguing in front of the children, you're not doing the children any good. If you start fighting in front of the children, you're not doing the children any good. If you start abusing each other, you're abusing your children. So this is where common sense should tell you, if you're going through this sort of situation, you should look for help. Come together and say, look, do you remember the way we were when we were on this beautiful island? And we had everything. Just a green or blue sea. And we were there on our own little love island. And do you remember how happy we were? None of the things that we're arguing about or what we're fighting about, none of these things were there. It was the two of us. And now look, we have beautiful kids. We have beautiful kids. So we have now started our own family and we can now enjoy them. We can now laugh, play. We don't need to be hostile to each other. You need to stop and think. You see, some people say to me, the past doesn't matter. But a lot of the times, the past can actually secure your future. Look back when things are going wrong. Look back. Sometimes you have to look back and ask yourself the question, fundamental question, where did we go wrong and what happened then to make us the way we are now? because we were happy then. And what's making us sad now? Then you can see your future comes in front of you. And it tells you the jealousy, yeah, the money. These are things that wasn't there before. So you look within yourself. You go, you sit down, you talk to people who knew you. You say to them, look, do you remember when we were only 16, 17 and we started to see each other? Remember we used to go to the clubs and how we used to be, we used to have fun. Well, where's all the fun gone? Just because you're older? You should be more wiser when you're older. But how come now? How come now? You're beating her. You are beating him. Now, does this make sense to you? That two people who were so close at one time can turn and abusing each other? Come on. Look at yourself and see each other and remember the way you were. Because your children will grow up to see you the way you are making them see you. They can either see you in an abusive way or they can see you in a normal, kind, and loving way, which is what all of us would love to be. We want to be parents. We want to be loving. We want to be caring. See, sometimes what men and women need to understand, there's signs to everything. And if you see that things are not going the way you want it to be, then you both can sit down and you can talk about this. And maybe you decide, look, we're better off just being friends. We can part in a good way. You don't need to fight. You don't need to make your children suffer in any way. All you do, one of you or both of you together, think about it. The one that basically, and the man always can go out there and they can find something more easier than the woman, because she will take the child more than likely. So you leave the house or whatever with the woman, and as a man you say to yourself, you know what, I'm better than this. I love my children too much. I love my kids too much. So what you do, you say, okay, we ain't gonna work. We ain't gonna make it down. So what you do, you say, look, that love is gone. That beach, what we had, it's now flooded. It's all been taken away. So there's nothing really left for us because we're scrambling trying to hold on to little bits that we have. So you do the best thing. You walk away. You walk away and you let nature, let life cleanse both of you. Maybe you'll meet somebody who is more better for you, and maybe she will meet somebody who is better for her. So it don't have to be the way how most people play it out, because that's not a game. People, human beings are human beings, and we must not abuse each other, whether man or woman, and especially when you have siblings. You must always understand that the nature of humans is to love each other. And that's why we were given the gift of life, to give life. And when we give life, we should treasure that life. Always treasure that life. Men and women of today, you need to understand one thing. You have one life, but you have loads of choices. I am a counselor. I am an effective counselor. I am not going to sit there and ask you what is the problem. No. I tell you as it is. Thank you for listening.